Hello.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Fine, thanks. How are you? How
I'm
was your
good.
day?
Oh, it was very busy. It's very warm in California. We're having a heat wave, and it's very hot. Right now it is, let's see, I'll check the temperature for you. Right now it is 30 degrees.
Oh,
Oh, I
Here
know.
sometimes it is 50 degrees.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just not used to it.
But these days are good. These days like 33, 29, something like this.
That's a good day for you?
It
That's a
was an
very
excellent day.
That's a very hot day for me to be inside. Well, I think it's difficult because we don't have air conditioning here. So inside our houses, it's just really hot. Remind me again how to pronounce your name. Is it Nader?
Nader.
Nader.
Don't pronounce this I too much. Nader. Like E. Nader.
Neder.
That's it.
Neder. Okay. Okay. And we have Sasha back with us. Hi, Sasha. How are you?
hello. I'm fine, thank you.
How are things in Russia?
Um, just fine. Well, the weather changes from day to day. So several days ago, we used to have plus 25 degrees
Mm-hmm.
Celsius,
Mm-hmm.
and the next day it was snowing.
Wow.
Yeah, and the next day the snow melted, but it was really chilly. So it keeps being chilly.
So it went from 25 to snowing. That's very drastic. That's a very drastic change.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write that into the chat. And we've got Wissam with us. Hi, Wissam.
Hello, Maureen.
How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. This is my last class for today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this weekend, I'm going out of town. So I'll be leaving tomorrow for a 2-day trip.
Good.
A quick trip, yeah. I'm going to Los Angeles, which is only about 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some new students here today. We have, is it Alan?
Yes, hello Maureen.
Hi, where are you from, Alan?
I'm from Mexico.
Oh, wonderful. And we've got, okay, you're going to have to help me with your name. Is it João?
João.
João?
João.
I try.
It's a Brazilian sound.
Yes, a sound that we don't have in English.
Yes.
Um,
But João tá bom. It's okay.
okay, I'll try my best, João. Yeah, so for my new students, my name can be difficult too. My name is Maureen, like the word more and then "een," so Maureen. João, are you from Brazil?
Yes, I'm from Brazil, São Paulo.
Oh, very nice. And are you excited for the World Cup?
So. I don't like soccer.
You don't like soccer?
No.
I don't really like soccer, but I like the World Cup because everyone is so happy and they always like to go outside and watch the soccer matches. And I used to live in Germany and they were very into soccer over there.
We have problems with the government and the money, the
Mm.
FIFA money. So I
Oh,
don't know.
yes, because they're probably making a lot of money from the World Cup being in Sao Paulo. So it'd be nice of them to share the wealth.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, I want to give our other students a chance to join in. Let's see, we've got 5 so far, and there's supposed to be 6 in the class. But we'll just give them one more minute. before we get started. So today we're doing a quick write. So I'm going to give you a sentence starter, so a topic to write about, and you're going to have 15 minutes to write as much as you can, and then we're going to share as a group and talk about the points of grammar and talk about the vocabulary, and also everyone is going to read their story out loud, so you will all have a chance to practice pronunciation. Okay, and we've got our other student. Is it David? Hi, David.
Hi, teacher.
Do you go by David or David?
David,
Okay, and where are you from again?
Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, 2 Brazilians today. Wonderful. Okay, so David, I was just explaining that we're doing a quick write. So
Okay.
now that you're here, I'm going to give everyone the topic, and then, yes, exactly. Netter says 2 birds with 1 stone, writing and pronunciation, and grammar and vocabulary, so 4 birds with 1 stone. But that's a good phrase for everyone to know, too. So I'm going to read the prompt for the writing, and I'll type it into the chat. So if you are looking at the image on the left-hand side, there's a blue button that shows the chat. Okay, not the Verbling chat, but the Google Plus chat. Okay, so the topic for your first quick write is, no one will believe what happened to me last night when... Okay, so I'm typing it into the chat. Okay, so this is your prompt. Sorry?
For me?
That's for everyone. Okay, we're all going to write on the same topic. Okay, so Joao, you're cooking your dinner. Are you going to have time to do a quick write?
What? I don't understand.
Are you going to have time to write? Will you be able to write while you cook your dinner?
No.
Okay, so maybe you can just come back in 15 minutes and listen to the part where everyone is going to share their story. And the part when we read out loud, you can listen in to that. So now you just can go cook your dinner and then come back. Okay? All right, so let's get started. I'm going to give you 15 minutes to write as much as you can. I recommend that you write on the computer, or you can write on a piece of paper. And in 15 minutes, we're going to share as a group and then help each other improve grammar and pronunciation. Does everyone understand? Okay, can you type in the chat if you understand the directions? Okay, good. Alan, yes. Wissam, do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I just started.
Yes, it's probably a little delayed. Wonderful. Okay, great. Okay, so Joao, you go cook your dinner for 15 minutes, and the rest of you can begin, and you must start with that sentence. No one will believe what happened to me last night when... Okay, so in 15 minutes, we're going to get back together and discuss. Okay, so write. Okay, everyone, how's it going? Do you need more time? Almost finished?
Yes.
Yes.
For me, it's okay.
Okay, let's give another minute for you to wrap it up, Alan. Finish things up there, and we'll start in 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, let's get started. So if you haven't finished, that's okay. It's just a quick write. So, all right, great. So who wants to go first and share their story?
I
Any
can.
volunteers? Wissam? Okay. Wissam, did you type your story on the computer?
Yes.
Okay. Would you be willing to do a screen share so we can read as along with you as you read?
I can post it on Verblink.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay, good. So are you going to read it for us?
Yes.
Okay, whenever you're
So,
ready.
okay. No one will believe what happened to me last night when I went to bed. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't because I remembered some events in past. It was happy and sad events at the same time. First, I remembered one of the football matches that Iraq national team lost it with the Qatar national team in 1989, where Iraq was need one goal to pass to World Cup that organized in Italy, but the team failed in this task. The happy events were two. First one was my graduation from college in 2002. The second one was the anniversary of my marriage in 2006. I tried to thinking positively in the future in order to be relaxed. Let me relax and to sleep smoothly, but again I failed. Therefore, I decided to read a book about the humanitarian issues and the human rights. But in fact, when I started the reading, in first two pages I felt sleepy. Then I decided to go to bed, and I did that. But I remember there is an important email. I must deal with it before morning. So I worked till 4 after morning. Then I went to my bed.
Okay. You got a lot in your story. So we're going to go through the story and I will just see anything that needs to be changed. You had very few mistakes and you did a great job with pronunciation, but there were a few things in there that I'd like to point out. So you took this idea very literally and told us exactly what happened to you. Is this what happened last night?
Yes.
Okay, so you could have said exactly what happened to you tonight, or you can make up a story. So if you made up a story to anyone in the class, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to read it, and if I come across something, then I'll try to point out any grammar or vocabulary issues. Okay. No one will believe what happened to me last night when I went to bed. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't because I remembered some events and here you'd want to say the past. Okay?
In the past?
In the past. Because when you are talking about something specific, such as the past, everyone is aware it's that specific past, then you want to use a definite article. And if it's something in general, you don't have to use the article the. If you were referring to something in general that there are many of, you wouldn't need to use it. But in this case, you're referring to the past, which is an idea that is very specific. So you need the. It was happy and sad events at the same time. Okay? First, I remembered one of, again, the football matches. So here you have one of. You're talking about one specific match that happened at one specific time. So you have to say one of the football matches that Iraq national team. So the national team, it belongs to Iraq, so it has to be possessive. Iraq's national team. Okay, and this can be tricky for a lot of non-native English speakers because in other countries you might say, or in other languages you might say, the national team of Iraq, but in English you put this apostrophe S, Iraq's national team. Okay, lost it, okay, you don't need to use it here because the subject of the sentence, first, I remembered one of the football matches that Iraq's national team lost with Qatar. There's no need to refer back to the match. Okay? In 1989, where Iraq was need, okay, I noticed this a lot with compound tenses. So a compound tense is like when you say, I have been to Baghdad, when you could just as easily say, I went to Baghdad. So if you're trying to say Iraq was need one goal, you would say Iraq needed one goal. And so sometimes when people forget the simple past of a verb, they will put was and then the past participle, like was need, but it's actually needed. Okay, back to the essay. One goal, to pass to the World Cup. It's a specific event, the World Cup organized in Italy, but the team failed in this task. The happy events were two, okay? There's a word that means when you're referring to two things, the happy events were twofold is what you'd want to say, okay? Meaning there were two happy events. You would only use it in that kind of sentence construction, the happy events were twofold. You couldn't say there were twofold happy events. You'd just say there were two happy events. The first one, again, specific, that one, the first memory. The first one was my graduation from college in 2002. The second one was the anniversary of my marriage in 2006. So here's my question, Wissam. Are you referring to the day you got married? Or are you saying, okay, so when you say the second was the anniversary of my marriage in 2006, you're referring to the anniversary is the day that you got married every year after you get married. So the day you got married is your wedding day. And then every year, that same day is your anniversary. And I think you know that, but you mean to say the second one was my wedding day in 2006.
Yes.
I'll type that in. Okay. I tried to thinking. Okay, I bet you could catch this mistake. When you say certain verbs, such as I tried, the next verb is going to be in the infinitive. Okay, does anyone know why that is? This is a tricky rule in English. Is anyone familiar with why that is? So I think we might have spoken about this in our last meeting. So if you say, I tried, then you either have to use the infinitive or the gerund. Okay? The infinitive is to think. Okay? Anytime you see a verb in English with the to and then the verb is not conjugated, that's called the infinitive. And then there's something called a gerund, which is the ing. Okay, the verb with the ing. So if you say thinking, that is the gerund form of to think. So when you have a verb like I tried, so the subject is I, tried is the verb that's conjugated, and then you have to choose. You can either do the infinitive or the gerund. So for example, it's either going to be I tried to think with the infinitive, or I tried thinking.
Okay.
So for everyone in this class, it's either the infinitive, to think, or the gerund, but not both. You can't say I tried to thinking. That's mixing them up a little bit. But that's a really important rule to know. It comes up a lot in English, okay? I tried to think positively, or you can also easily say, I tried thinking positively in the future. Same as the past, it's a specific sort of idea or place, a specific place of the future. So I tried thinking positively in the future in order to be relaxed. Okay, don't forget those ed endings. They can sometimes take a verb and make it into an adjective. To be relaxed and to sleep smoothly, but again, I failed. Now, there's nothing wrong with the phrase to sleep smoothly, but there's a word that we use more often than smoothly. We would say to sleep soundly. Have you ever heard that phrase, Wissam?
No.
It means to sleep in a very deep sleep, very smoothly with no interruptions.
Okay.
So you would say, you could say, if your coworker says, how was your night? You can say, oh, I slept soundly. I feel so refreshed. But again, I failed, okay? Therefore, I decided to read a book about the humanitarians' issues. So here's the opposite of the rule from before. In this case, you're talking about humanitarian issues in general, not any specific issue. So you would say, therefore, I decided to read a book about humanitarian issues with no definite article because it's in general. And you did it correctly again when you said and human rights. Human rights is general, so you don't need the. But in fact, when I started the reading in the first 2 pages, so the specific 2 pages, I felt sleepy. Then I decided to go to the bed. Even though you are talking about a specific bed, your own bed, the phrase we use is go to bed, meaning in general we go to our beds and sleep. So I decided to go to bed, and I did that. But I remembered there is an important email I must deal with before morning. You don't need to say it because you're not referring back to anything. So I worked till 4 a.m., then I went to my bed. Great. See, you only had a few very minor errors, but the one about the infinitive versus the gerund is a really good thing to know. And one thing about pronunciation is this word worked. It's one of those words where you pronounce the first part, work, and then it has a t sound on the end. Okay? So can everyone repeat after me? Worked.
Worked.
Okay?
Worked.
Good. Netter and David, you want to give it a try? Worked.
Worked.
Good.
Worked.
Very good. Yes. So that's one of the tricky final d sounds on words. So sometimes it makes a d sound like d, and other times it makes a t sound. In this case, it's worked with a t sound. Okay, and not worked. Okay, so if you really want to work on your accent, you'll focus on those final sounds of words in English. And if you don't know of this website, there's a great website for pronunciation. I just typed it into the chat. It's called forvo.com, and you can click on, you can type in a word, and you can click on the word, and it'll show you, you can listen to a recording of that word from an English native speaker. Okay, great job, Wissam. You had some good points to make. Who wants to go next? Our next victim.
Okay.
Me?
Okay, so I think David volunteered first. So, David, did you type your story?
Yes.
Okay, can you either do a screen share or type it into the chat? Or, I mean, paste it into the chat?
Okay.
Okay, so David, when you're ready, you can start reading your story.
Okay. No one will believe what happened to me last night when I decided to go on that show. Even I don't believe. Please hit me to believe that I'm not dreaming. I look the picture and I don't believe yet. I have a picture with Justin Bieber.
Oh
I'm
my
a great
God!
fan of Justin Bieber. I know all his musics. A friend of mine was selling a ticket for the show, but I didn't have money. My sister had a dog of a very expensive breed. So what did I do? I gave him my sister's dog, and he gave me the ticket. I don't know what will happen to me when my sister discovers about it. Maybe I will lose 2 or 3 teeth, but no problem. The most important thing is I have a pic with him, the best singer of the world, and you don't have it.
And you don't have it. Oh, okay. That was lots of fun. Now, are you really a big fan of Justin Bieber?
No, no,
I
no.
didn't think so. I
I'm
didn't think so.
33 years old.
So you're being sarcastic. You're
Yeah.
joking with us, okay? Great. So I'm going to read your story, and we'll go over any mistakes that I find. But let me just write sarcastic. David is being very sarcastic when he says he's a big fan of Justin Bieber. Okay, we're missing the word would. No one would believe what happened to me last night. So don't forget, it's happened in the past, happened with a d sound on the end. What happened to me last night when I decided to go on that show? Even I don't believe. So in this case, you actually have to say, even I don't believe it. Okay? And that
Okay.
it is referring back to this idea that something happened. I don't believe it, that thing happened. Okay.
Okay.
please hit me I believe that I'm not dreaming. Okay, so here's a good expression. We wouldn't say hit me, but there is an expression we say, which is pinch me. Does anyone know the word pinch? Okay, this is to pinch someone. Okay, so if you're dreaming, someone can pinch your arm, and then you'll know if it's a dream. So you would say, pinch me, not to, but so. Pinch me so I believe that I'm not dreaming. I looked. Okay, so it can't be I look because it happened in the past. I looked. Okay, so can I have you repeat that, David? Looked.
I looked.
Again, that same t sound on the end.
Okay.
I looked at the picture. So I looked at. Usually when we're looking, we look at something. So if you're wondering which preposition to use with look, most of the time it will be at. Okay? I looked at the picture, and I don't believe it yet. I have a picture with Justin Bieber. I'm a great fan of Justin Bieber. You can say I'm a great fan. It's more common to say I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan, okay.
I know all his musics. Okay, musics is not the right word choice. What else could we put?
Lyrics.
Lyrics, if you know all the words, but there's a better word than that. Any guesses?
Songs.
Songs. Yes, I know all of his songs. A friend of my. Okay, so when it's a friend of my, it's mine. Yes, a friend of mine was selling a ticket for the show, but I didn't have any money. Okay, you have to say, you can say I didn't have money, but it'd be more common and it sounds more correct to say I didn't have any money. And for some reason, some people have trouble with this word money. They tend to say money, okay? And that's what I heard you say. So can everyone repeat after me? Money.
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 Okay? So and pay attention to, it's more of a E sound. E, money. My sister had a dog of a very expensive breed. So what did I do? I gave him my sister's dog, and he gave me the ticket. Uh-oh. I don't know what will happen to me when my sister discover about it. So there's a very common phrasal verb that we use. Instead of saying discover about it, we say find out. Okay? And since it's your sister, it would be when my sister finds out in the third person.
Okay.
When my sister finds out about it. Maybe I'll lose 2 or 3 teeth. That's spelled like this.
Yeah,
teeth. Teeth, that's right. But no problem. The most important thing is I have a pic with him, the best singer in the world. So prepositions can be really tricky, so don't worry too much about that. You'll get the hang of them. In the world, and you don't have it. Okay, very good. That's a very entertaining story. Okay, so it looked like to me most of your mistakes were very minor, and they're just about not using the correct word or forgetting the ending, such as happened or looked. So pay attention to those. But that's great. Okay, we don't have too much time, so I'm going to go on to Alan next.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, well, Netter put his in the chat, so let's go over to his now. Netter, are you ready to read?
No one will believe what happened to me last night when I was going to bed. I was making the bed when I heard what sounded like whispering. I thought it might be my imagination, since I had a very long, stressful day. Then I heard it again. The sound, the second time was much clearer. I had no doubt that time that it was the voice of a child, a little girl, if I was not mistaken. I went out, but I couldn't see anything. It was a very dark night, and the sky was inky black. I wished she would speak again so I could identify her place. I stayed for a minute or two, but I couldn't hear anything, only the sound of those frogs at the lake. I was a bit confused, but relieved as well that everything was okay. When I was going back, I heard it again. Nader, Nader. It was very weak, and it looked like someone who was in great pain. I cried, "Where are you? Who are you?" But there was no answer, only the sound of silence, so to speak. I was really frightened, and suddenly something grabbed my pants. I looked down, and it was my neighbor's little child. With a big smile on his stupid face, he said, "Trick or treat." He continued, "Don't take it personal. It is Halloween." I smiled and told him to wait for a moment. I entered the house and came back with some sweets. He ate a few and then he shouted, "Oh my God, what is this?" I replied, "Don't you like hot and spicy sweets? Pardon me. This is my own little trick for you. Don't take it personal, it is Halloween."
That's great. You're a good storyteller. Um,
Thank you.
I have to say, I didn't see very many mistakes in the whole story. One thing is you have to say, instead of don't take it personal, it's don't take it personally. Okay? Don't take it personally because it's actually an adjective, an adverb. So an adverb is a word that describes a verb, and in this case the verb is to take something personally. So whenever you see a word that ends in ly in English, you know that it's an adverb, which means it's describing the verb in the sentence. So the thing is a lot of people will say, don't take it personal. But those are native speakers who are making a mistake. So you might hear don't take it personal if you've seen an American movie or something, but that's a mistake on the part of the native speaker, okay? And don't let them fool you. It's don't take it personally, okay?
Mhm.
And then for holidays like Halloween, we don't use the. We just say it's Halloween. It's Halloween, or it's Christmas, or it's New Year's Eve. The only holiday that we have that has a the is
The Christmas.
no, not Christmas, the 4th of July,
Uh-huh.
okay, which is our Independence Day. So we sometimes call it Independence Day, but more people call it the 4th of July. But Neder, you have a really good knack for writing. You have a good command of English in your writing. So I didn't see any other mistakes.
Okay, thank you so
Good
much.
work. Round of applause. Okay, so before we run out of time, let's hear from Alan. Last but not least. Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Take it away, Alan.
No one will believe me, but no one will believe what happened to me last night when I was about to sleep. I decided to go for a walk. So I put on my tennis and went out of my house. While I was walking, I heard a sound and saw a shadow that started to follow me. I wondered for a moment if that would be my brother that also wanted to walk before going to sleep. I turned back and realized that it wasn't my brother following me. It was the scary dog of my neighbor. I tried to keep calm because I have heard dogs can smell your fear and makes them aggressive. Even though I tried, I was very scared because the dog started to bark and started to get closer to me. Suddenly another small shadow came from nowhere and went quickly over the dog's face. The dog ran away crying, and I couldn't believe it. The small shadow that saved me was an abandoned cat. I
Oh.
was very surprised and happy that I decided to adopt it. Now we live happily together.
Yay! It's a happy ending.
Yes.
Alan, did you see the story of the little boy who was saved by the
Yes.
cat? Okay,
Yes, I
I'll
saw.
have to find that at the end of our class and send the link to everyone. It's a great video of a cat
Yes.
saving a boy from a scary dog. So, okay, so let's go over your story. I'm going to read it aloud, and if I see anything, we'll discuss that. No one will believe what happened to me last night when I was about to sleep and, okay, you need to say and, I decided to go for a walk. So I put on my tennis shoes, okay. Oh, you saw it in a class. Okay, so Netter has seen the video too. Okay. I decided to go for a walk, so I put on my tennis. You have to say tennis shoes. Some people call them tennies, but it's spelled differently. It's spelled T-E-N, tennies. But it's a very not cool way to describe your shoes. It's something a mom would say. Okay, so I put on my tennis shoes and went out of the house. While I was walking, I heard a sound. Okay, so heard, just like to hear, is spelled like that. Okay? Herd, the way you have it spelled, refers to a group of animals, like a herd of cows.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay,
just
so
be aware of that. I heard a sound and saw a shadow that started to follow me. I wondered, okay, so we're missing something on the end of that word. Not I wonder, because that's in the present tense, but I wondered in the simple past. I wondered if, for a moment, if that would be my brother that also wanted to walk before going to sleep. I turned back, again, you need that ED on the end to make it into the simple past.
yes.
I turned back and realized that it wasn't my brother following me. It was the scary dog of the neighbor. I tried to keep calm, so no need for the ED on the end there because you already have tried, which is in the simple past, so you don't need to conjugate this because it's just an adjective. To keep calm, because I have heard dogs can smell your fear, and it, referring back to the fear, it makes them aggressive. Even though I tried, I was very scared because the dog started, so we're missing a T, started to bark and started to get closer to me. Suddenly, another small shadow came from nowhere and went quickly over the dog's face. The dog ran away and I couldn't believe it. Not couldn't believed, but I couldn't believe it. Do you see how the couldn't is, so I couldn't is in the past. So that's the simple past. And you don't need to conjugate believe. The small shadow that saved me was an abandoned cat. I was very surprised and happy that I decided to adopt it. A better word instead of that would be so. So is a good word to move a story along. Something happened, so something else happened.
Okay.
So I decided to adopt it. Now we live happily together. Okay. One thing about pronunciation, I've noticed it can be difficult for some people who are native Spanish speakers to pronounce the final G sound. So the G sound of the word dog.
Dog.
Okay. So if you can work on that. Any words that end with a G, just make sure it's a very clear G sound.
Okay.
G. And it comes from the front of your mouth, not from your throat, okay? So a lot of Spanish speakers will say dog, and you can feel it in your throat. You should not feel it in your throat. It's all up in the front of the mouth. Okay? Okay, so we've got 1 minute left. Let me see if I can find the video. Cat saves boy from dog.
Maureen, I have a question.
Sure.
Did you say that when I have a verb in the past, the second verb can be in present?
Yes, you don't always, I mean, not always. It depends on the situation, but most of the time, if you've already conjugated one verb into the simple past, the next verb does not need to be conjugated. So, for example, just as in Wisam's story, I tried to
Yes.
think. Okay? Okay, so here's the link to the video. I hope you enjoy that. It's a great video of a cat saving a boy from a vicious dog. Okay, and Netter says you wanted to finish the story with a moral, but you couldn't find it. Well, maybe next time, okay? Good work, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to my class. And I will have more classes next week, so take a look at those and see if they sound interesting. And I hope I see you there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
You
Bye.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.